Hi, welcome to our channel. Today's video has probably been the most requested video from our Instagram followers, and I'm happy that we're finally getting around to being able to film it. If you've never been to our channel before, I'm Val, and along with my husband Josh, we live, work, and travel full-time in our 30-foot Airstream. But we don't do that alone. We have 3 travel companions with us: Zoe, Stella, and Dylan, who are our 3 furry friends, our cats, and they have been traveling full-time with us on the road for over a year now. A lot of people on Instagram have been asking us to make a video about how we've made life for them on the road comfortable, safe, and easy. So today's video is going to be tips to help you if you are thinking about going full-time or maybe just want to travel more often with your pets. So if you're interested in that, stick around. I'm Val, and this is my husband Josh. Along with our 3 cats, Stella, Dylan, and Zoe, we live, work, and travel full-time in our renovated Airstream. Together, we dreamed of a life of our own design, filled with adventure and freedom. So in the summer of 2019, we sold nearly everything we own and hit the road. Life on the road can be hard sometimes, but the opportunities for discovery far outweigh the challenges. Subscribe and join us on this journey as we balance work with play and learn how we can all find a little more adventure in the world around us. So our first tip, if you're hoping to bring your animals on the road with you, is to take it slow. It's a new space for them. It's going to have weird smells and weird sounds, and you want to give them a chance to get used to it. When we first set off, we had a 5th wheel, and fortunately for us, we'd owned the 5th wheel before we went full-time. Before we ever took the cats on any trips with us, we actually let them go out into the 5th wheel and wander around. We'd put our own sheets on, we'd put our pillows out there, things that smelled like us, but we gave them an opportunity to wander and explore before we ever moved that 5th wheel out of our driveway. We also took short trips with them. We would go on weekend excursions, and we always took them with them so that they could get used to what it'd be like to be somewhere with new sounds and new smells in the forest, different places like that, so that it was a little less overwhelming for them. When we moved into our Airstream, we didn't have the luxury of time or a house for them to adjust. But we did have a couple days where we actually were at the dealer's parking lot and we were transferring everything from our 5th wheel into our Airstream. And while we were doing that, we let the cats come into the Airstream again to smell around, jump on things, figure out where their little space was going to be. We did that after we'd put our sheets in our bed in, and we'd put pillows on the couch so that things started to smell a little bit like us. This just gave them a chance to get a little accustomed, and we also slept in the 5th wheel that first night just so that they had a chance to go back to a space they were familiar with before we moved full-time into the Airstream. The more opportunities you can give for them to feel comfortable in the space before you take off full-time is really going to benefit them in their transition to full-time life on the road. If, like us, you are traveling with cats, we highly recommend that you make their litter box easy to find and accessible for them. For us, our cats prefer to be in an enclosed litter box. That's just what they like. So in our 5th wheel, we actually built a litter box into the space under our kitchen cabinets. It was a closed off area. We put a cat door in the main door so that they could get in and out. And then we had access to the tray to clean it by opening the door, which was really handy. In our Airstream, we don't have the luxury of that much space, and so we actually used the space under our bed. We built a little fake wall, added a cat door again. The nice thing about it being in there is it really contains the litter, the smells. It's a safe and quiet space for them, and they actually really love it. Trust me, we would know if you've ever had a cat that doesn't like its litter box, it will go outside of it, and you'll know quickly that it doesn't like it. We've seen amazing places that other people have put their litter boxes, from built into the dinettes, into stairwells, into compartments where they're able to get to the outside under bay area where the owner can then go on the outside and clean it. Anything that works best for you, get creative. There's some awesome options on Pinterest if you ever do a search where you can find where people have creatively put their litter boxes. Just like you would for another family member, you need to dedicate some space solely for them. For us, we removed the bottom bed from our bunkhouse, and we ended up putting down flooring there that we could have a hangout space for us, but also for them. We were able to find this small cat tree that allowed us to give them a dedicated space where they could climb and scratch and hide. And this for them has been a fantastic place for them to hang out. They absolutely love it. As you can see, there's a small window behind it where they'll just lounge on this top section, look out the window, watch the birds, and they'd love it. When we originally bought the Airstream, one of the thoughts was for us to remove the upper bunk so that we could put an actual proper desk back there for this to be our office. Ultimately, we opted to leave this space, and I'm so thankful we did, because beyond having great storage, this is an amazing place for the cats to go and hang out. We've put 3 cat beds up here. Again, they have another window. It also encourages them to jump and climb, which is very natural for cats. So they're going to jump from the bottom bunk area up to the top. That's really great for their health and their wellness, their joints, and they love to hang out there. I also love this area because there's a vent just right next to it on the ceiling, which means that there's good air circulation up there. So on warmer days, I know that they're safe up there. We can open this vent and turn it on, and they're getting really good fresh air, and that's fantastic. They love this back area. This is sort of the designated cat land, as well as our hangout, record, and meditation space, and we're all super thankful for this extra living space back there. It can feel really challenging to create a routine for you as humans when you live full-time on the road. Josh and I move every 5 or 7 days typically, and that's a lot of movement, and it's really important to create some routine for the cats. This is us feeding them at the same time and every day, cleaning their litter boxes at the same time, playing with them in the evenings before bed so they have that extra exercise. It's really important. They thrive when they have a little bit of routine, and we've found that just implementing some of these basic things has been really great for them. This has also included keeping their food and litter consistent. We never change their food or litter. We're very thoughtful about how much food or litter we have left. If we're somewhere where we can get it and we still have some left, but we're worried that the next places we're going will be challenged to find it, we will carry extra food and litter with us because they are picky, and it means that they're getting exactly what they want. And that's really important for them to feel healthy and happy when they're on the road with us. On the topic of food, we've purchased these 2 airtight containers that hold a large bag of food as well as a very large box of cat litter. We love having these airtight containers, not just because they help keep their food fresh, it allows us to carry more with us, but also it's one less thing that we have to worry about little critters finding their way in. That's a pretty common thing that you hear about when people live full-time on the road in their RVs, is about little bugs getting into food. We do this with all of our food. We move everything from boxes into plastic containers that are airtight to ensure that we don't have that. We do the same thing with their food. It's a really great way to keep their food fresh and away from bugs. We store these 2 containers under our bed, which is really helpful. It gets it out of the way. They fit perfectly under the bed, which feels like it was intentional, but it just happened to work out great. Because it would be a little annoying to have to lift the bed every day to get to their food, we actually have a cereal container that we picked up at Target, and this actually holds the equivalent of a small bag of cat food. But what we usually do is just fill the cereal container about once a week. That's enough food to feed the cats all week, and then we don't have to lift the bed all the time. I'll put a link down in the description of everything that I've talked about today if you're looking for any of these solutions so you can access them for yourself. The next topic is going to be a little controversial. I am already prepared for that, so please don't leave any mean comments down below. But we want to talk about safety and transportation on travel days. You may not be aware of this, but in many states, it's actually illegal for you to have any living being in your travel trailer. Whether that's a person or an animal, you're actually not permitted to have them back here. I don't know if you've ever been in the back of an RV when it's moving down the road, but it's terrifying. We've been in the back just moving it around a site and everything shakes. I can imagine how terrified an animal would be if it was in the back of an RV traveling 65 miles an hour down a highway, which is basically the equivalent of a magnitude 4 earthquake. That would be pretty terrifying for anyone, let alone a small 10 or 15 pound cat or dog. Now that we've gotten the controversial topic out of the way and we all agreed that we're not going to leave our animals in the back of the travel trailer or fifth wheel, we needed to find a solution that would keep them safe in the truck. For us, we actually intentionally bought the truck we bought because it had a full crew cab in the back with its own doors, which meant that we had somewhere safe to put the cats. We had an easy access to get them in and out of the truck. For us, we opted for small dog kennels rather than cat carriers for them in the back of the truck. Cat carriers are very small and very challenging for the animal to move around in, and we wanted them to be able to be comfortable to sit up, to walk around, to move, because some days we travel upward of 6 hours, and that can be a really long time for an animal to be in a cage. To ensure their safety, we have strapped the 3 kennels down to the truck so that if there ever was an accident, God forbid, the kennels are actually secured to the truck and they're not going to bounce around. That's safety both for them and for us as well. And to make it comfortable for them, they each have their own bed inside their little kennels. When we put the kennels into the truck, they were a little uneven, so we opted to put a 2x4 across the back. That has put their kennels perfectly level, works great, and they're happy. Continuing on travel days, one of the things you really want to do is set your animal up for success. If you have a dog, you can walk them before you get in the car. You can pull over and walk them at any time. That's a pretty easy thing to do. A lot more challenging with 3 cats. Unfortunately, we can't take them out for a walk. We can't make them go to the bathroom before we get into the truck. So usually what we'll do is late the night before a travel day, we'll pull up their food and water so that they all have an opportunity to use the litter box before we take off in the morning. Most travel days, Josh and I are on the road moving by 10 a.m. so we know that they're going to be fine. They can survive for a few hours without breakfast. Sometimes it makes them a little cranky, but it's better than them puking or going to the bathroom in the truck, which they nor we want to have happen. We've had to pull over. It is not comfortable for them or for us, and it's certainly not as safe if we have to pull over on the side of the highway to deal with a mess. So that we've found has worked best for us. We do have one kitty who's less than happy as a travel companion on travel days. Dylan is not the happiest when he goes in his crate. He doesn't actually mind the truck, he just doesn't love being in the crate. He's a free-spirited kitty. He does not like to be caged up. For him to make him more comfortable, we've opted for a thunder shirt. Thunder shirts are compression shirts for animals. It's intentional to make them more comfortable in stressful situations, whether that's loud noises, thunder, taking them in the car, taking them to the vet. This is what it's for. We only have one for Dylan. He's the only one who needs it. And we actually found that after he wore it for a few weeks, he realized that the truck wasn't trying to kill him and he was actually totally okay. And we found that overall his experience in the truck has been much better since he's had the thunder shirt. We actually don't put it on him all that often. Additionally, we have also added in CBD oil for Dylan to help just sort of de-stress him a little bit before he goes in the car. We put 1 small drop on 2 treats for him. We have done a ton of research to try to find the cleanest CBD oil. We didn't want there to be any other fillers or oils or anything in this that could potentially cause him to become sick or have a reaction. This CBD oil that we found, we had the opportunity to talk to the owner, find out what was inside it, how they made it. I was very impressed with her and her passion for what she was doing. We've now been using the CBD oil for over a month. It works great. Dylan is much calmer in the car. He just enjoys the ride much better, which is great for him. We only give it to him on travel days. We give him very, very little of it. And if you are going to go the route of CBD oil, I would recommend that you try it out in a safe environment before a travel day. We gave it to him ahead of time and allowed us to watch him and monitor him for well over 24 hours to make sure that he would be safe and not have any reactions to it. When we were confident that he wasn't going to have any issues, then we felt safe giving it to him on travel days when we were actually moving. It's worked great. I highly recommend it. I'll also put a link to her store down below if you're looking for a clean CBD for your pets. Our next piece of advice is around temperature inside your RV. For us, we boondock most of the time, so we're dry camping and we don't have access to our AC, so we're very conscious of the temperature on a given day. While we have amazing windows that do a 360 all the way around the Airstream and allow for an incredible breeze to come through, we also heavily rely on our 2 ceiling fans to help create circulation. In addition to the 2 ceiling fans, we also have 2 battery-operated fans that allow us to really get a full circulation. We often put them on the floor or in the back bunk area, and it really helps to move the air around and keep it a lot cooler in here. All of that being said, if it's going to be a really, really hot day, we opt not to leave them. It makes us feel safer knowing that we're here. If it gets really, really hot, we can always all climb into the truck and turn the AC on. And there has been a couple weeks this summer where it has been long stretches over 100 degrees where we've actually opted for an RV park so that we had access to our AC so that they and we were more comfortable. We still didn't leave them during the day because there's always that concern that when it's really hot like that, you can have rolling blackouts and that the RV may lose its power for some amount of time. And when the power comes back on, however long that might be later, that the AC wouldn't kick back on. So for us, that's our choice. It does mean that sometimes we have to give up doing something, but it's more important for us that they're safe and we know that they're safe than any hike or excursion that we could ever do. Knowing that we're here in case anything happens is really important to us. There are pet cameras and pet monitors that are available on the market. For us, we've chosen not to go that route. We may down the road if we feel like it's important, but we've found that being here is always going to be better than any camera or any tech that we have, and it makes us feel the most comfortable. One thing that people don't talk a lot about is the cleaning supplies or oils that you might use, sprays that you may spray inside your RV. It's really important to know if any of these are toxic to your animals. You may use them in your house and it may be fine. And then when you get into this smaller area where it's going to be a little bit more concentrated, it may not disperse in the air as well, can really make animals sick. I wasn't aware that animals could get so sick off essential oils until I was doing some research on purchasing one. I'm thankful I knew that and I didn't end up bringing one into our small space. But if you do travel with pets, it's really important to think about what you're putting on surfaces, what you're putting into the air. It's a small space, it's hard for them to get away from it, and it could be toxic to them. One of the things that's going to be the most important for you to remember is to be flexible with your animals. If you don't want them on the counter, if you don't want them on the couch, if you don't want them on the bed, they're not going to have a lot of spaces to go, and that's going to make them pretty miserable. We live in 180 square feet. They're going to go up on the kitchen counter sometimes. They're going to end up on the dining room table. It's not a whole lot we can do to stop it. What we can do is be flexible, get them down, and clean the surface off. We're all going to be happier if we don't spend the whole time yelling at them to get down and off of things and let them live their life. Come around behind them, wipe things down as we need to. They're happier, we're happier. It's better for everybody. I think anybody who travels with pets who don't go outside, one of your biggest fears is that they're going to escape and you're going to lose them. I know it's something that I worry about. We have screens on all of our windows. We have a screen door. Anything that you can do to help, be able to open the windows but them not get out is going to be really important. But I would highly recommend that you have your pets chipped. Worst comes to worst, if they do get out and someone finds them, it's standard practice for vet offices and for shelters to scan animals and see if they have a chip. If they've been chipped, at least they're going to be able to contact you and let you know that they've been found. It is every pet owner's worst nightmare that your animal gets out and gets lost. So be thoughtful of it as you're going in and out of your RV. Where are they? Are they at your feet? For the most part, our cats aren't that interested in going outside, but it's just one of those things that we always keep mindful of and make sure we know where they are before we head out the door. On the topic of having them chipped and vets, it's really important to have a complete set of records of their vet visits with you. We are very fortunate our last vet had full digital records, so we're able to access them online at any time. But if that's not something that you have available, request a full copy of their vet records so that if you are on the road and you do have to visit a vet, you're able to let them know the last time they've had shots, any issues that they've potentially had, any medication that they have been on previously. It's really helpful to have that available so that if you do have to go into a vet's office that you're not familiar with somewhere, that you have all the right information so that they can best help your animal. Our last piece of advice is to love on them the same way that you would in your house. Yes, the space is a little bit smaller, but they love you and they want to be near you. They don't really care that much that the space is a little bit smaller. You'd be shocked at how adaptable your animals will be. As long as they're with you and by your side, they're going to have a great time. Keep an eye on them. You know your pet's best. If they're acting weird, have them checked out. Give them that little extra love every day and let them enjoy the space right alongside you. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. We'd love for you to subscribe. We put new videos out twice a week. On Wednesday is our travel vlog, all about where we are at and everything that we're seeing. And on Friday, it's videos like this, which is travel advice, nomadic advice, living life on the road. Thanks for checking out this week's video, and we'll see you next week. Bye.